Well, thanks for joining us this morning. Recently, ICE announced that international students will have to leave the United States if they're taking all online classes next fall. That's looking like it will be the case for many as universities are hesitant to bring students back to campus amid the coronavirus. Today, we're interviewing immigration lawyer Andres Mejer about the new guidelines and what that impact will have on students and university. Good morning, Andres. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We've seen.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've seen, universities locally here, Gonzaga and Eastern Washington, come out publicly against this decision. Can you speak a little bit on that frustration of those universities?
Yeah, so let's put a little context. I mean, DHS, Public Homeland Security, has had a policy in place probably for about ever, saying that international students can't have more than one class or 3 credits per semester that are online. If you think about it, that policy makes sense. If you're going to travel to the United States, you're going to get a visa to study in the United States. But if you're doing only online, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Enter COVID-19. March 13th, Trump declares a national emergency. The Department of Homeland Security says, we're going to put a new policy in place. We're going to exempt international students can now study only online. And they said they're going to keep that policy during the emergency declaration. Now, July 6th, the Department of Homeland Security says, not anymore, we're revoking the exemption. There was no notice. It completely surprised both students and universities that relied on the prior announcement and actually made decisions that they're not going to open up for the fall, or they're going to open up in some limited fashion.
So what can universities do now moving forward with this new mandate in place, or this exemption taken away?
Well, the best thing they could do is file a lawsuit. I know that sounds kind of silly, but trying to, first of all, what is the new regulation? First of all, it's not even a new regulation. It's only a broadcast message. We haven't actually seen a regulation proposed, but what it does say is, if you are closed completely, university, by July 15th or in 5 days, they have to submit a new plan, an operational change plan, they call it. If they have a hybrid model, they're going to have to certify for every single student that they are now complying with the new with the old regulation, meaning they're not taking more than one online class. Now, that's due by August 4th. How does universities do that in the next month for every single international student when, in many cases, they haven't had to even select their classes yet? They don't even know what classes are going to be available. Are they going to be in person or on person? The process, the short amount of time that the administration gave them, makes it very difficult for the university to say, well, we've just spent the past 2 months figuring out what we're going to do. Now you want me to change all of that in a week. It's a very difficult position for the university to be in.
I mean, if you're an international student, how are you able to make plans at this point? Or even
you can't.
Can you?
I mean, part of the problem is you got students outside the United States wanting to enter the United States that are now being denied because their school is offering online only. If students are here and planning to leave, or they're here, they didn't leave, they want to stay, they're now being told they have to transfer to another school. How is that going to happen in the next month? It's unrealistic. Or they need to leave. And if they don't leave, they might get deported. It's very difficult for a student. We're getting these phone calls. I'm assuming every university is getting these phone calls with students. Should I travel? Should I not travel? What should I do? How should I do it? It doesn't make sense for this policy to, I don't think it's going to pass legal muster. So I think every university that has any significant international student population has to go to court. I don't see an option. At the very least, the period has to be extended so that they can figure out what a reasonable plan is going to look like. Because this policy, and one of the arguments that Harvard and MIT have done in the complaint that they filed 2 days ago, now they had a hearing on it yesterday, they're going to have another hearing this morning, they're probably doing it right now. What they said is, listen, this new policy is arbitrary because you didn't consider harm to the university. You didn't consider harm to the students. And you didn't provide a reason for why you're doing it and how you're doing it. That's aside from you need to have notice, you need to listen to comments.
Right.
It's a difficult time.
Difficult time at that. Well, we so appreciate you giving your input, Andres, this morning as an immigration lawyer. We just heard from him on what that Trump administration is pushing out. Thank you so much for being with us. More Up with Crime next.